Welcome to Module 3, Augmented Reality and Wearable Technology. This module is actually about exploring two types of technologies that you may want to use in K-12 virtual education. It's not really being used now because of the cost behind both these technologies and some of the advanced devices and technologies required to use them. But this is definitely something that if you wanted to push the envelope and to start exploring how you could really go crazy with some exciting technologies in your class, ways to do that. This could also be a great module for you to listen to as you're thinking about perhaps writing some grants or looking for some funding associated with some more innovative or advanced kind of technology use in your classes. So let's first start with augmented reality. Augmented reality is a way to sort of enhance your experience of the world around you, and it gives you lots of data about what's going on around you. It can generally be used with mobile devices, simply a mobile phone with a camera and maybe some GPS, and you can get a deeper sense or a richer sense of perhaps the city that you're standing in, perhaps a piece of art that you're looking at, but you're seeing that more and more data about the world around you is available using these devices. Now, you don't only have to use a phone and GPS. There are wearable technology devices that also help you get access to augmented reality tools or have augmented reality embedded in them. But mobile devices are probably the easiest way to get access to it. Types of apps that you can find on your mobile devices are things like Google Goggles, Google Sky Map, Augment, String, Fetch, even Project Tango, sponsored by Google, that's about not only creating easy environments to use augmented reality in, but actually open sourced augmented reality tools so that you can build it into other technologies. That's probably more for your advanced students. But the cool thing, once again, about some of these simple apps that are out there is that you can use it to help students get very in-the-moment information about things around them. This would be great, particularly if you embedded it in like science or art or history classes. You had students go to a museum, perhaps, and they had mobile devices that they could use, and how they would experience a museum differently than if they didn't have that kind of data. You could have them go on physical scavenger hunts in a particular place. Let's say your students are virtual students and they take a vacation or a trip somewhere. You could have them use that and experience and document that trip or vacation while experiencing some of it through augmented reality. There's all sorts of interesting things that you can do with it should you have the technology and the apps available. The apps are generally free. It's just a matter of making sure your students have devices like a tablet or a phone that they could use those apps on. Now, if you want to take it one step further, you could get into the wearable tech space. I was hoping that by the time this course would run, there would be some really good examples out there of K-12 teachers using wearable tech. And there really haven't been yet, unfortunately. I think there are some pockets of experimentation, but because it's expensive and hard to get those actual technologies in the hands of your students, it hasn't been used yet, although I do think it's coming. And if any of you have used wearable tech in your classes, please share in our discussions. I would love to hear how you're using it. But anyway, wearable tech takes this augmented reality and spins it up so that you can completely interact with that environment. You're not just seeing it in a different lens. It's not, just 3D in your environment and giving you more data, but it's actually letting you play in that environment, interact in that environment very physically, and it gathers all that data. It is device specific, so you're thinking about things like Google Glass, the Apple Watch is promised to be great wearable tech, Key Glove, Autographer, where you can manipulate what you're doing with your hands or what you're writing and taking notes. Even like a GoPro could be considered a wearable tech. If you're going to mount your video camera when you're experiencing something, that could be considered wearable tech. So all of these are device specific, but they do allow you to interact differently with the environment. And these tools would be great for either creating technologies in some of the more advanced science classes or technology classes, or in situations where you're encouraging a lot of creativity or maker experiences, where you're having students build things, do things hands-on, or experience environments in a much more fluid and rich way. Like I said, I'm hopeful that these technologies will become more prevalent and the devices and the device makers will get them into the hands of educators, but I think we're at the very beginning of seeing where augmented reality and wearable tech could impact K-12 education. So, as part of this module, I would love to have you think about how you might use either augmented reality or wearable technology in your virtual teaching, or how you might think about requesting some of those devices, perhaps write a grant, perhaps reach out to local manufacturers and see if they'd be interested in donating some of those technologies, and what might a lesson look like